I'm very pleased to introduce our next speaker. He'll be giving a keynote talk, The Hidden Engine of Web3, How Gambling is Driving On-Chain Activity. So please join me in welcoming to the stage Lewis Clifford, CEO at Bitcoin Casino.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lewis. I'm the CEO of BitcoinCasino.com, and today I'm here to talk to you about gambling. One thing that's very interesting here is that gambling currently is one of the largest markets in Web3. And even more interesting is that it's projected to become the largest market in the very near future. Whenever I say this to people, they go, Lewis, how? How is gambling projected to become one of the largest markets in Web3? And there's a very good reason for that. And the reality is, if you work in blockchain, you work in Web3, we follow narratives, we follow hype. But what we do not follow, or not follow very well, is on-chain data and transactional activity. And if you look at that, activity, it paints a lot of bigger picture. Things become a lot clearer. Take a look at RWAs. Last year, there was a tremendous amount of hype around real-world assets. If you went to any conference, all you would hear is RWA. If you go on Twitter, RWAs. The reality is, there's not much on-chain activity that's going on there. And the market, surprisingly, is very small. We'll get into that a little bit later. So you don't get the full picture. If you look at DeFi, the backbone of Web3, there's a lot of value there. There's not a lot of activity there. Look at the products in DeFi. Look at staking, right? Staking. What does a user do? He buys his token, he stakes it. Okay, I'm going to go on my day. That's it. Doesn't do anything else, right? Gambling, look at the user. What does he do? He gambles. Yep, he comes every day. He deposits at the casino, he starts playing at the casino, and he has a lot of choices there. Does he play sports? Does he play them with slot machines? Does he play roulette? Does he play blackjack? And that user, which most importantly, which we'll get into now, is the highest frequency user in crypto today. They are the power user within blockchain. Shocking, right? But there's a very good reason for that. That's because they keep capital in constant motion. But they also have high transaction frequency, and they come back daily, they come back weekly. Do you watch football? If you watch football, every Saturday, you watch the Premier League, you watch La Liga, what do? You put a bet on. So it's predictable. That user's going to come back on the weekend and play his sports. And there's no other sector within blockchain that has that type of user. A high-frequency user that will repeatedly come back and has extremely strong retention rates. We're about to go into something now which is a bit raw. Okay? It's very raw, to be honest with you. You're going to rip this Band-Aid off. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be nice. But it's the truth. Gambling is one of the only, really, sector that it doesn't matter about market conditions. If it's a bear market, it thrives. If it's a bull market, it explodes. Can you name another area that does that? It's very hard to find. Why does it do that? How can something thrive in a bear market? If you look at gambling, and you look at traditional casinos, fiat casinos, right? They have 1 month in the year where they make 2, 3, 4 times the amount of income than in any month of the year. December. Christmas. Holiday season. Why? Because the increase of costs have gone up. right? All of a sudden, they've got presents to buy, they've got travel to go to, they've got more food to put on the table. It's a celebratory period, and the cost massively inflates. What doesn't inflate? Their earnings. Their earnings do not inflate. So you have something which is very natural to humans. You have desperation. People become desperate. And so they gamble more at Christmas time than any other time of the year because they want to make sure that there's presents on the table. They want to make sure there's food there. They want to make sure that they're going to have a good time. And it's sad, but it's the truth. Now compare that to a bear market, right? You wake up in the morning, you check your wallet, everything's red. Everything's just going downhill. And you go, oh, where's my money gone? It's no there anymore. Yeah? You become desperate. So what do? They turn to high volatility. They turn to things that will get them rich as fast as they can. And what's the highest volatility product that you can choose? Gambling. Yeah. It's the highest volatility product you can choose. And they come to it. So that's why it thrives in a bear market. Desperation. Now look at the other side. A bear market. So you go, Lewis, okay, it's thriving in a bear market. You know, so in a bull market, it must be dead. It must be quiet. Nothing's going on. No one's desperate. They're checking their wallets in the morning. They go, oh, you know, I'm all in the green. I've done 20% today. I've done 30% today. Human nature kicks back in. Greed. People are greedy. They want more. They go, I made 20, 30% today. I've got this extra cash. What am I going to do? I'm going to go find high volatility because I want to make more. Yeah, I want to make more. So it's one of the only products that exists that does extremely well in a bear market and extremely well in a bull market. There's an interesting fact here. In 2022, the last bear market, $1 trillion worth of bets were wagered, bets placed. In a bear market, over $1 trillion worth of bets were placed. At crypto casinos, this isn't worldwide, this isn't fiat casinos, in crypto casinos, $1 trillion. It's insane, and that's because it's powered by behavior. It's not powered by hype, it's powered by behavior, right? And a big question here, so what, is gambling? What impact does it have into the ecosystem? Why does that matter to blockchains? And it's very simple why that matters. What does every network want? What does every blockchain want? Exactly. It needs to generate fees, and it needs volume. It needs transactions. And the gambler provides that. It provides a lot of volume, a lot of activity, and guess what? They can count on them to come back tomorrow. They can count on them to come back the next day. And they can count on them to come back in the bear market. So it's a very, 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 very powerful user. And that's why it matters. So I've done a lot of talking. I've talked about the user behavior. I've talked to you about why this matters, right? And I said to you at the beginning here that it's projected to overtake and be the largest market in Web3 in the near future. And there's a good reason for that. So if you look here, the global gambling market, this is fiat. This doesn't include crypto. This is the fiat global gambling market online. Look at the bottom number first. $10 trillion worth of bets are placed in 2025. $10 trillion worth of bets were placed in 2025. And the casinos generated $700 billion worth of revenue from that after taking the house edge out. $700 billion. Now look at the crypto gambling, right? Where are we today? It's new. Crypto gambling's been around since 2017. It's only really started to grow since 2019. In this time, $2 trillion worth of bets were placed last year. In 2025, in the crypto gambling market, $2 trillion worth of bets were placed. 100 billion revenue is being generated there in that market alone. And it's a rapidly growing market. How does that compare? Right? Because we spoke at the beginning. We spoke about narratives. We spoke about hype. Yeah, people would go, oh, RWAs, prediction markets. These are the things that are booming. These are the things where all the activity, all the volume, where everything is. Well, not quite. RWAs, you'll probably think was one of the biggest markets ever last year. It's actually only 16 billion to 28 billion market. Not even a quarter of the size of the crypto gambling market. You look at the prediction market, every investor now is looking at investing into a prediction market. The rise of Kalshi, the rise of poly markets. Yeah, they all want in to prediction markets, which is just gambling. They would not want to admit it, that prediction market, you're hedging on an outcome. It's gambling. 63.5 billion that market's worth. Just over half, just over half the size of crypto gambling. DeFi fluctuates massively, about 180 to 200 billion, but DeFi has been around since the existence of blockchain. All right? And it's measured in total value locked. Again, on-chain activity. Doesn't really generate a huge amount of fees compared to other markets, especially with what crypto gambling is going to generate. Very interesting here is the growth. So I've shown you, okay, 100 billion market, 700 billion in traditional casinos, and we looked at how that compares to other markets. In 3 years, the crypto gambling market has grown by 500%. What does that look like? 16 billion in 2022, 100 billion plus today. 500%. If you look at the volume of bets placed, $400 billion worth of bets placed in 2022, $2 trillion in 2025. It's rapidly growing. Global interest in crypto casinos. This is Google Trends. This is people searching for crypto casinos. This is people searching, it's signing up. This is looking at the affiliates as well. 20 times since 2019, it's grown. And if there's one thing to take away from my speech today, it's the last thing. It's projected to overtake fiat gambling by 2035. 9 years from now, this market's going to be worth more than 700 billion. Over $10 trillion worth of bets will be placed. Think how much on-chain activity that will create. Think how many fees that will generate. Think how big that market is. Yeah. And you go, why? So why do people want to gamble with crypto? Why are players moving? It's a very good question. Why would someone want to go gamble in crypto? There's a very good reason for that. Let's say you sign up to a traditional casino today, William Hill, Bet365, big casinos. And you deposit using your debit card, right? Just play, I don't know, you bet on sport. Let's say you bet on sport. As soon as you have that transaction on your bank and you go in there, you speak to your bank manager and you apply for a mortgage, first thing they ask is, okay, let's have a look at your transactions. Very first thing they say, oh, he's depositing at Bet365. He's playing football every weekend. He's a high liability customer. And you're immediately flagged. Immediately flagged. You're either going to be rejected by your bank, or you're going to have higher interest rates. You've also got to go in and have that conversation, which is a really embarrassing, horrible conversation to have with your bank manager, and that stigma of, I've got gambling transactions on my bank statement. And you've got to explain yourself. No one wants to explain what their hobbies or what their things that they want to do in life. You know, that's me, that's what I do, they're my personal time. What's that got to do with you? I earn good money. I can put a deposit down on a house. Yeah? What's gambling got to do with you? Well, it matters a lot, and they care. And it's one of the biggest reasons. You can gamble with crypto, you can gamble in privacy. The other thing, which is equally important to the user, actually sometimes more important to the user, is the withdrawals. So you can deposit at a crypto casino very, very fast. You can deposit at a traditional casino very fast. Bank card, a traditional wallet with a crypto. But when you withdraw, I request a withdrawal from Bet365, what happens? 2 to 5 day processing time. Yeah, before it's returned back onto my card. So I've just deposited all this money, I've won, I've got money there, I want access to that money now, right? I want to access that money as fast as I can. 2 to 5 day wait. And the traditional fiat casinos are really crafty. They do this on purpose. They actually lock it up for 24 hours. And what happens? Well, the user comes back the next day before the withdrawal is processed, and they start gambling again, and they lose the money. Okay? A gambler is very, very, very susceptible to that, and they know that. Why do they come to crypto casinos? because immediately they request withdrawal, it's in their wallet within 15 minutes, depending on if it's USDC, USDT, it's in a matter of minutes. If it's Litecoin, 15 minutes. It's very, very, very fast. They don't have to wait. And then they take it to the exchange, they sell it on the exchange in Europe. SEPA, it's in your bank account within an hour. Right? So that's a very, very, very strong reason. Privacy and control. If you are gambling, it makes no sense today to be gambling at a fiat casino. So why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you all this? Well, I'm the owner of BitcoinCasino.com, right? It's the best name in crypto gambling. It's the best domain name in crypto gambling that you can possibly get. Actually, we haven't even launched the product yet. And we have 40,000 people a month search for us. Yeah. Actually, last month, it was 55,000 people search for us. Yeah. In Google. Crazy number, right? 55,000 people are searching for a product that doesn't even exist on the market. That obviously brings instant authority and trust. Also, on top of that, we are planning to be the first casino to integrate a prediction market, right? Not just sports betting, betting on any outcome that you can possibly bet on. Politics. Yeah. The rise of Kalshi, the rise of Polymarket. Well, actually, it's a very good product for a casino. They go hand in hand. So you'll be able to play sports, you'll be able to play slots, you'll be able to play roulette, but also you'll be able to come and use a prediction market. Capturing, this is a very interesting fact. We've got the strongest domain name in crypto casino. If we capture just 3% of that market share, we will generate $60 million that year. Yeah. In profit. In profit. As I said, this is what we're building. Slots, table games, prediction markets, sports, esports. Originals, what are originals? Okay, originals are custom games that you won't see anywhere else. Yeah, a custom slot machine, a custom table game that you won't see anywhere else. And most importantly, what you don't get in traditional casinos is highly gamified incentive rewards. Really, really, really good rewards. At the moment, you get free spins. Yeah, that's all you get at a traditional casino. Well, there's one thing about Web3, we're very good at rewarding. We're very good at incentivizing. And we can reward people in tokens. We can reward people in deposit bonuses. We can reward people in many different ways. We can also create community liquidity pools, right, which you will never, ever see in a traditional casino. So for our originals, you will be able to come and invest into the house edge. And you start making money when the casino makes money. You get paid out. You can't do that at a traditional casino. Crypto casino, you can. So it has so many benefits. Why us? If you're looking to invest into a casino today, we have 25 years combined gaming experience. We're partnered with the largest providers in iGaming. And also we have deep expertise in iGaming, crypto, and infrastructure. If you look at crypto casinos today, they're all run by Web2 guys, right? And they don't actually really understand the market that well. They're just tipping their toes. But we're Web3 guys. We understand on-chain data. We understand the power of that. We understand to use that for marketing. And we also have tremendous iGaming experience to back that up as well. So if you would like to have a chat with me off stage, we're currently raising 6.5 million. We will not ever have a token. We're giving equity away, right? Hard equity. And that 70% to 80% of that will go to marketing alone, and the rest into building the product and licensing and compliance. Thank you ever so much, everyone. Great speaking to you all. And yeah, thank you.
Welcome to Signal Week.